Hey guys, good evening everyone. Welcome to my channel. This is Miss JD for another episode of our daily stock market insights. In this video, I am going to cover the most trending stocks in the Philippine market as of June 23rd market day. And we're a few hours away from the June 24th market day. So this is going to be a pre-open stock market analysis. Okay, so we are sure we are prepared before the market day. All right, so let's see here. We're going to first talk about the index. But before I do that, I'd like to invite everyone, if this is the type of video you'd like to watch and monitor every day, feel free to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you're updated whenever I have new videos. Now, let's talk about the index. So I think I was also able to cover this yesterday, and I said that MA20 line or the moving average in the past 20 days is always very powerful. And notice what we have experienced in the past when the stock or when a stock is on a decline, including the index, because we're just using the same methodology. I am using Bollinger Band here, and the middle line is MA20. I'm just using the default settings. You can adjust that though. So in the past, since February, because we're on a downtrend, each time this MA20 gets hit, there's a rejection that's happening. And then we were able to successfully cross that path. And now it's starting to go on a bullish side, which is going to, on an uptrend. And at the moment, this is the first wave, first pullback that happened, and it again respected the MA20 line. So I am thinking because volume is still there, slightly lower than the average, but I still consider this as a valid bounce at the MA20 level. I'm looking at a possibility of a continuation, not unless there's a really big headline or uh, you know uh, a news that will prove otherwise. Okay, any negative news that will impact the economy normally, index is the first one that gets hit. Okay, and what comprises the index? Of course, the major players in the country, top 30 plus stocks in the Philippines. You can just Google it and you'll find what these are. Okay, so I still feel that we have some form of continuation in the coming days. Could be today as well. All right, so next we are going to talk about the main stocks here, and let's see how far we can go. But let's talk about SFI. This is Swift Foods. And by the way, guys, I'm just looking at this purely on a technical side. I have not, some of them I was able to read news. I was able to browse through the social media feed of Instagrams. And maybe I can inject some insights there as well, but mostly technicals. Okay, now there was an unusual movement on the 22nd of June for SFI. And probably the reason why it extended here is because, of course, normally a lot of people, especially the newbies, we get so excited with the momentum here, and chances are we chase, but it's fine. However, if you see a sell signal and it's starting to decline, we gotta either take profit really really fast or cut our loss really really fast. Otherwise, cutting your loss at a late in the game, it's going to be bloody. And I suggest, if you're not able to do that really quickly, then just wait for the bounce. Otherwise, it's a gun. It's a sure deal. The money is gone forever. And of course, it's best that you look at the fundamentals first and understand what's driving the movement. Otherwise, it's really what you call a pump and dump thing. Okay, so where do I see it dropping? Because this is a bearish candlestick. Okay, um, at the start of the day, there was a gap up, pushed the price higher, and then I don't know when did it drop. Like, yeah, it only took 10 minutes. it took 10 minutes to reach the peak, and then the overall sentiment was on a decline. So if you were able to enter right here, you would already know that there's a weakness that's happening, right? Over here, if you are to look at it on a faster time frame, you are experiencing some rejection right around the 0.18 area. The body of the candlesticks is starting to become smaller and smaller. At the same time, your volume is starting to decline as well. As we reach each time we hit the resistance level, the sentiment of the market is starting to decline. Your RSI is starting to decline. Your volume is starting to diminish. That should have been your signal that, hey, it's not taking off anymore. I gotta exit here. Okay. Another thing you need to consider as well when you look at a Bollinger Band, once it triggers in either side, okay, here it already triggered this side, right? Then normally there's a continuation. In the same manner, when it starts to trigger from a constricted Bollinger Band, it starts to trigger to the upside, then there's a continuation. Okay, so and this is a 5-minute chart. Normally you first look at a longer time frame so you know the overall sentiment, and then you drill down into a much faster time frame. Okay, so those are my 2 cents for SFI. This is still going to drop by today, and I already plotted the area where it could potentially bounce. Not yet. Here it could potentially bounce around the 0.14 level, 0.1469. Okay, let's talk about ACEN. ACEN on a daily chart, we might experience some slight pullback here. It's not every day a green day, guys. Take note of that. So over here, while we were slowly climbing up, your RSI is also starting to decline. So please expect some form of resistance within the area, or we can also experience some pullback here. I'm looking at this level as the first area of uh, possible bounce. 8 peso. Look at this resistance here in the past. Okay, that's why when you pull back, normally a resistance is treated as the next possible support. BDO. BDO also profit taking happened right over here. So I'm looking at this level. Okay, we're looking at this area as a possible bounce. So there could be fluctuations. We don't really know if it is going to happen within just one day, touch the 112.60 and then recover right away. But overall, I'm putting it at that area because if you look to the left, there used to be a resistance over here that used to be uh, an area where price gets rejected, and we've managed to break out of that, and then we're just retesting that previous resistance, and we might be establishing a support right there. But this is already a good story overall because at one point it even reached to 98 pesos and it climbed up. Okay, it's just you know, these are just traders locking in some gains. But if you're a long-term investor, when it dips, that will be your opportunity to add more volume. Because look at that, big picture wise, you still have a lot of room for the price to move even higher. Okay, another very, very stable company in the country. Ever, oh, nice. Ever had bounced at this area. For me, this is a bounce level, but just be extra careful. I don't really see, major story around the increase in the price. Unless you know anything about it, just feel free to drop a comment, share your thoughts or whatever you know so that we can also learn from you. Now, looking at this is an engulfing candlestick, and twice in a row, second day being at this level, we stopped at this area and then we bounced. So that for me is already a bounce. So it's at 0.45. That's your nearest support. So if there will be fluctuations, preferred entry level would be 0.50, 0.45. Now let's try to understand it in a Fibonacci retracement. Fibonacci retracement measures the area where you can see a possible pullback, and then it continues to drop. It continues to move even higher. Okay, so if I'm to plot it using a Fibonacci, There you go. So this is the area. I'm slightly lower when I plotted it. But if I remove it, that's your, oops. If I remove the manually plotted line there. So this is your uh, bounce level, 0.382 area. So that was indeed a bounce. Okay, it respected your 0.382. So more to come. You can probably do intraday trade here if you're not 100% sure of the overall big picture of the company. So just go ahead and do intraday trade and lock in gains like 8-9% gain, lock in and take profit. PHES. Okay. Guys, this is a looks like we have established a resistance right at this level, and then this could potentially be a resistance too. But look, I'm 50-50 over here because it reached this level and then it bounced. So this could even be a new support now. This area over here. There. Resistance. It was touched here as well. And then we managed to break out of that, and then it was retested again. So 0.65 for me is the nearest support. 0.79 is the nearest resistance. Now, if you want to know how much that is, if you're just going to do you do range trade, that will give you a good 19% gain. So if you want, you can haggle in between 0.65 and 0.74, enter in between, or if you really want to be more of a conservative on the conservative side, go ahead and enter around 0.65 or 0.66. All right. BHI. Wow. Bounce. This is a bounce, but that was a solid 15% gain. So just be prepared. Some traders could be taking profit, or we don't really know. There's a good volume right here. So we might even have a gap up today because this was a solid green. We didn't have any wick at all right here yesterday, June 23rd. So there could be a continuation. Something, let me see, just looking back. Okay. So two scenarios, just to watch out what the movement is on the first 30 minutes of the day and see if it is going to do gap up or it is going to go back. If it is going to go back, the support I see here is 0.11. If it breaks this area, this is the resistance level. This could be a potential breakout play. Okay, there you have it. That's a possible breakout play there. So when it breaks out, normally, always remember this, when it breaks out, normally there's a continuation and the breakout area will become your support when it pulls back. GMA 7, wow, very bullish. Although, just be extra careful, you are already at the overbought level, but we might be establishing brand new support here now if it is going to do a pullback, or within the day it pulls back, it could potentially touch your 1265 area, around that. Okay, so could be a little higher or lower, and who knows, we can just have a long wick and then continue move up. ICT, see that? Solid. So I've got nothing to say here, but very, very promising stock in the long term. Look at it for long term, guys, for ICT. Unless this is respected, we're good. Just draw that line each time. And if it breaks this, let's say MA20 line, you could either do two things: exit everything or lock in profit, because it could just be a minor pullback, right? Like this one, it breaks, but just a few pesos below the MA20 line, it recovers again. But this is technically the uptrend channel that the stock is respecting at the moment. Okay, Ali, also a bounce, but take note, you're very near a possible short-term resistance. This is your resistance, but once that let's say we do a gap up today, who knows? Then we could see a continuation. Then the next resistance I see would be around here. There you go. But technically, of course, the nearer you are to MA20, the better if you still would like to enter in alley. Overall, yeah, there's also a big picture here. Look at that. We have declined, and at one point we even reached 53. So just know your profile and understand, or yeah, understand yourself and see how long you'd like to wait if you are a long-term investor here. Because if you want to aim for that highest point here, you really have no control. It could take years to go back to that level, right? But sometimes you will be surprised. The decline that's worth 2 years could be reversed. We could see reversal and reach that point again in just a matter of weeks. So the market is so, I'm so appreciative of the market. It's such an art that you really cannot predict. And every movement, there could be influencers, but you'll just be surprised about the twists that can happen along the way. That's why I'm so in love of the stock market, because of this. There's a science to it, but I see art in it as well. In the meantime, let's go and check JFC. JFC, there was a pullback, which is normal, and see how powerful the MA20 is again. It dropped at the MA20 area, bounced at the MA20 area, and now we are recovering again. So let's try to understand where it could reach again as our next possible resistance. I would normally expand and look at the longer time frame, so that the noise that I see on a daily chart or sometimes on an intraday chart, it gets removed and we see a bigger picture. Look at this. This used to be a resistance that became this used to be support that became a resistance when we declined, and we're starting to recover. That resistance could be challenged once again, and if we are not able to break that, we could go back to the 199 level again. Okay, so that is it for this episode. I hope I was able to cover at least one or two stocks in your portfolio, and know that my outlook here and my insights here are based on my profile. I am more of a position trader slash mid to long term investor. Okay, so thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Like it if you like it. Drop a comment if you'd like me to cover your request. Okay, bye bye for now.